Hello, welcome to our Thor Ragnarok spoiler cast here. If we haven't made it apparent, yes, we are spoiling it. So if you haven't seen Thor Ragnarok and you still want to, close your device now, take out your headphones, smash your speakers, because we're about to spoil everything for you. So I guess we can start off here is just kind of our general thoughts or opinions about the film, whether we liked it or disliked it. I think that'll help kind of paint everything else we say for the rest of this segment. So why don't we start off with Colin here? Hello.
Hello.
What was your kind of just general vibe about the film?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
You sure?
I don't know. Like, so I thought it was a fantastic comedy. I think we were talking about before, Robert, that it kind of looked just like a buddy cop film almost between The Rock and Thor, basically. And I was like, yeah.
The Rock and Thor. Dwayne Johnson. He was fabulous in that movie. Yes, you did.
Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God.
We're stone cold in this equation.
Now we need The Rock playing the Hulk. That's what we need. The Hulk and Thor. No, I have the whole thing with Fast and the Furious and Tyrese Gibson on my head right now because he's like feuding with The Rock right now.
Tyrese Gibson on my mind.
Dude, Tyrese Gibson is feuding hard with The Rock right now, but I digress.
All right.
Anyway, yes, epic buddy cop movie between the Hulk and Thor. And that's, I mean, it delivered on that aspect, but I definitely think that, like, for me personally, it wasn't much beyond that, and that's coming from someone who's not very adverse in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But yeah,
how many Thor movies have you seen?
I've only seen the first one.
So you didn't even see the second chapter?
No,
yet?
I didn't.
Okay.
I'm sitting in the same boat. I heard the second one wasn't that great either. So,
Not that great, though, for the Marvel Cinematic Universe is still okay. It's still better than a lot of movies.
You know, speaking of the second movie, I actually had someone say today to me that the second one was better than the first one.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that's the first time I'd heard that opinion, so who knows?
Dark World's good. Yeah, that director kind of bowed out of doing the third movie, which kind of opened the door for Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
But
what a great name.
The God of Thunder. Thor Ragnarok. I thought that as someone who has seen pretty much every single Marvel film out, as someone who's seen all of them multiple times in some cases, it's been well documented. I watched Avengers twice in one day, the day it came out in theaters, in two different theaters. Yeah, we've talked about this before.
Okay.
We watched it, and then we went and we had dinner, McCormick and Schmick's, and then we drove across town and watched it again.
Okay.
Right before and after dinner. Yeah, we liked the original Avenger movies that much. But I think you are really hitting some really hard bullet points for me, Colin, when you're like, okay, it's funny. B, it's like a buddy cop movie between The Rock. It's like Thor and Hulk, like buddy cop film with Jeff Goldblum involved, Kate Blanchett, and more on the humor side. To me, that sounds like a hell of a good time.
And it was a good time.
Which is what I had at the theater. I thought this movie was great. I actually am celebrating the fact that it's different than most superhero movies I've ever seen in my life. It reminded me more of Rush Hour than
honestly, I kind of see
than Captain America: Civil War. It was just so lighthearted. It was like, to me, if you look at the entire MCU as kind of a television series, this is like that one episode that everyone talks about that people remember. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you think about your favorite series on TV, then there's always one episode that kind of sticks out in a weird way, but it's a good way, and you fondly remember it. That's how I feel about this film. So I love it. I had a great time. That's kind of my short off the cuff impression of it. We can get more in depth here.
Yeah.
So this is like the Goku and Piccolo get their license episode of the MCU.
Yeah, nice Dragon Ball pull there.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, so like for me, I'm in a weird place about it because I know while I was sitting in the theater, I really enjoyed it. Like it was, again, a fun movie to watch. Definitely a popcorn movie for sure. Like the kind of movie that you like if you had the Blu-ray for it, you just pop it in. Like if you were like with a couple friends and just wanted to hang out to like a good movie. But then parts of it for me felt a little like, was Thor always this funny? Is it maybe a little too lighthearted? Did I maybe laugh too much at a movie where Thor lost his homeland?
See, this is where the people that skip the dark world, the dark middle chapter, I can see where you're coming from, right? Because it got dark in the dark world, and now it's lighthearted now. So you kind of skipped over that. So I can see where you would feel that way.
Well, sure, but like when because again, I've only seen the first Thor movie, right? Thor, when he walked into the scene, when he arrived on Earth, he was like this clueless alien who was like, "What is this? What is coffee? This is good. Another one." But, you know, he wasn't really like trying to be a funny, cheeky asshole. He wasn't trying to be Nathan Fillion, you know? Whereas in this movie, like the first thing you see him and he's like, "Oh, wait, hold on. This chain's spinning me around. I can't look at you. Oh, we're in a pickle, aren't we? Oh, wait for me to turn around. There we go. Oh, I see your face. Tell me more."
That was great. I thought that was a great scene. I thought it was really funny.
I mean,
It set the tone.
for comedy beats, I thought it was great.
Yeah,
but
but it'd be like if
I don't know.
if like in The Dark Knight Rises, Michael Caine walks up and is like, "Hello, Batman. How are you doing? You're doing a joke that's really funny. Let's have a little jape here."
No,
you know,
Nolan has never really gone for humor like
no,
this
but
for it. But
I'm
Thor's
not
always
talking-
been silly in a way, but
I'm not
now he's
talking-
really like unbottled in this one.
For me, I'm not talking about like Nolan, like Christopher Nolan as a director. I'm talking just about Thor as a character. I never really found Thor to be like Spider-Man, like literally Spider-Man. That's what Thor was in this movie. It was like, what if we took Chris Pratt from Guardians of the Galaxy or Tom Holland from Spider-Man and just made him Thor? That's kind of the vibe I got, which to me was like, at first I was like, "Oh, this is great. I love comedy." But by the end I was kind of thinking, maybe there needs to be a little more weight, like dramatic weight to this film.
You're asking for a little much from this film. This film was all about just like the Fast and the Furious kind of crowd. Like this film was very, very lighthearted. And like I said, for someone that watches all the Marvel films, they definitely went there. Then they definitely do go there. Watch Captain America Civil War. You know, watch a lot of these movies, even like a Iron Man 2. Like I think the argument is that they kind of get too serious and too like kind of up their own butt about a lot of things. Avengers 2 even was, I mean, kind of a critical success mostly and a commercial success, but not really considered like one of the highlights of the MCU. So I just look at this as that great little ball of sorbet in between entrees that just is a good palate cleanser, right? And this is like, okay, this is gonna be a new thing. And what I've heard is this is like the beginning of a new Thor trilogy now, where they're gonna have like where they're gonna have like, now Thor Ragnarok's gonna be the first part of a different Thor trilogy that is more like in this type of tone. Like more funny and more lighthearted, more like, hey, turn on the disco lights. This is Marvel, but this is like not the Marvel that you're used to. And I'm all for it, man. That first scene you talked about with Surtur, that fire demon,
the fire guy.
I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was hilarious, and I laughed way harder in this film than I was expecting. I thought it would just be more like a visual spectacle, but I thought the script was sort of, I don't know if I say pretty strong. Stronger than I expected, I guess, is the most accurate way I can put it. There are criticisms I have of the film. The first being that it looks way too digital to me. This is the first film in a long time I've watched where I'm like, oh, now I know why why kind of film buffs really celebrate when a film is on actual celluloid, on actual film, because there's a different look, there's a different feel. This one felt so digital to me. It reminded me, dare I say, of the Star Wars prequels in a lot of ways, and I hate that look. So
like, do you mean like how it used a lot of? I mean, it did use a lot of CG. Is that what you mean?
No, it looked too crisp, clean, pristine. I could see like the makeup on everyone's faces. At least in the theater I was in, like it just looked too clean. It looked too sterile. It looked too like almost like I was watching a video game brought to life. It looked like almost too computer generated, even when it clearly wasn't. But with that being said, there was massive overuse of green screen in this film, and I'm kind of sad about that. Like the part that really sticks out to me is where you see Anthony Hopkins, and they're in Norway. They're supposed to be in Norway. It's so clearly green screened. They even, I don't know if you guys noticed as well, but they changed, if you pay attention to the trailers of this film, they purposely deceive you in the trailers where you think that certain scenes are going to take place in an alley. Like, for instance, when Hela breaks Mjolnir, his hammer, right? Like in the trailer, it takes place in like an alleyway in the city, but in the movie, it actually takes place on some mountaintop, some cliffside in Norway. So if you're really paying attention to that stuff, they use that to deceive you. I'm like, why can't you just go to Norway?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, is that too big an ask? You have to green screen it and it looks so fake. It looks so bad. So those are criticisms I have. But But overall, I think this is a great film that I would certainly recommend to people. I would certainly say definitely check it out. It was a lot of fun to me.
Right. So let's start maybe digging into it. Something that I found to be kind of like interesting, right, is like this movie had an A plot and a B plot. Had the whole like Hela taking over Asgard and, you know, killing all the revolutionists and whatever. And then Thor being stuck on the planet Saqqara trying to find his way out, and like he meets with Thor, meets Hulk and, you know, all that stuff.
The Rock.
Yeah, he meets The Rock.
Yeah, The Rock. Oh god, I'm never gonna live this one down. Just like everything else. It's
so for me, when I was watching that film, it was kind of like a little, like every time it cut to Hela, you know, doing her whole like taking over Asgard now, whatever, I kind of really hated it because I was just like, I want more of whatever the hell is happening on Saqqara right now with Jeff Goldblum's mad fantasy land of warriors fighting each other to the death. You know what I mean? Like for me, the one plot was so much stronger than the other that I was really bored by the other plot.
Yeah, I kind of understand where you're coming from, Robert, because the part that comes to mind for me is, you know, where she's like standing outside and they're like in a giant like courtyard and she's like all the troops and then like pulling an uprising on her, like all the guards from the city. Mm-hmm. And like she just like kills them all, right? But then they kill the one dude and it just held like it felt so out of place in an otherwise very, very comedic movie. Even when the action was going on, it was very comedic, except for that one moment. Like the dude comes at you and he's like, you know, like I will never kneel to you, and she like fucking kills him. Yeah. And I was like, I see what they're doing here, and I understand, but it just like because of the overall tone of this film, that one scene felt very out of place. And I feel like if the overall tone was different and it was playing more on this one plot instead of the Saqqara plot, it would have worked a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm sort of disagreeing with you here when we talk about Hela's screen time. For me, looking back on this film, I could have done with a lot less Loki. I thought he was really boring and kind of didn't really serve much of a purpose. Like I've kind of got my fill of Loki at this point. And the character,
really quick, while we're talking about Loki, can we just mention how he looks like Tommy Wiseau from fucking The Room?
The hair. Yeah, totally. Oh, hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah. So it's like he's really isn't doing anything new with the character. Yeah. And it's just getting stale. It's getting bland. I mean, maybe like that breakup that Tom Hiddleston had with Taylor Swift, like really like is taking its toll, but that guy's not doing, you know, much anymore.
I didn't even
Loki.
know he was dating Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it was weird. It was weird.
Okay.
But anyways, I digress. But who hasn't she dated at this point, guys? Like, let's be real.
Hey.
But Taylor Swift burn. Oh, so
write another album.
But I loved Cate Blanchett in this role. I thought she played that role great. I thought she looked great as a villain. That was like some StarCraft shit I was seeing on the screen. That was like some Queen of Blade shit I was seeing. I was like, yes, I just thought it was awesome. And like the montages, like the flashbacks of like the epic battles between her and the Valkyrie, that was like some 300 shit as well. That reminded me of. I was like, whoa.
Well, you know, executioners, they execute people and they execute ideas, but mostly they execute
people. Yeah, I liked her a lot. I would have really have traded Loki in for her and more interaction on Asgard, or more interaction with her and Thor and the main protagonist and Hulk, etc.
Yeah.
So she's presumably dead. You know, spoilers, right? At the end of this film, like she's presumably dead, but I'm pretty sure if it's going to follow comic books, she's going to make her return alongside Thanos in Infinity War, which comes out April?
Something like
which
that?
is like super soon when you think about it. Like,
wow, it's that soon.
Black Panther, like after Black Panther, it's Infinity War.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's April. It's April or May at the latest. I'm almost sure it's April actually. But no, I love Cate Blanchett. She was one of my favorite parts of the entire film. I love the part where she's also like down in the basement. Asgard, I don't even know what it's called, but it's like the basement where they keep all their treasures. The vault, yeah. And she's like, "Oh, Infinity Gauntlet, fake," and throws it on the ground. I just thought that's really funny.
I don't know. I agree that her like performance was good, but again, it kind of runs into like the super lighthearted thing. Like Colin, you just quoted like the whole, execute plans, but mostly people. I was like, if you're trying to make her menacing, why is she just as funny as Thor and Hulk and Valkyrie and literally every character in that movie is just funny.
But they already established before they did any of that at all. They already established like Thor is literally her plaything. Like, he stands no chance. She shattered Mjolnir like with a blink of an eye, So she's already like the threat is established. I think if she started Kraken wise, I have a problem with it. But I think that like she kind of earned the ability to do that in this film just because she's like, alrighty, I'm already all powerful. You're like the buzzing of flies to me.
Fair enough. I will say though that the way the film ends is very satisfying. Just it's very typical. It's very what you expect. You know what I mean? Like I don't think there were any surprises about the ending, like that whole final battle scene on the bridge and all that. Like I don't know if you guys were blown away by some kind of twist that I didn't see, but it was all kind of par for course. And seeing Thor actually as the god of thunder, I have to admit that was pretty cool. That was really cool.
Yeah, and then coming out to Immigrant Song for the second time.
Yeah.
Are we kind of jumping like to the end already?
I mean, I think so.
Okay, so Immigrant Song is a cool song. I'm not going to hate on it, but it was kind of already like it's kind of getting old a little bit for me because if you remember
it's kind of played out.
Yeah, it is kind of played out because I watched Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, the remake of it, the David Fincher remake, and that like they redid it with like the lead singer of the Yeah Yeah Yeahs and Trent Reznor and all that, and so they kind of it's kind of been there. It's like treaded ground already. So it lost a little bit.
Or School of Rock.
Yeah,
come on,
that
School
too.
of Rock.
And like, so it kind of lost its effect with me. I'm like, okay, yeah, I know this song. I've heard it a bunch of times in movies. Okay, it's cool. Be badass, whatever. To me, the funniest part was in the whole film was near the end where you saw I don't know what's his name. I can't remember
Banner?
the Hulk's name.
Bruce Banner.
Bruce Banner. Thank you. When he's like, I'll take care of this.
About, yeah.
And he jumps out of the jet.
Funk.
Yeah. And like you just think you're just conditioned from watching these superhero movies like, oh, clearly he's going to turn into Hulk by the time he lands. He's going to land all bass out on top of the wolf.
I knew it was coming.
And he just splats like a gnat on the bridge.
I knew it was coming. I was like,
God.
he's gonna jump out and he's not gonna change it. Like he's gonna like fall face first. But the way it happened, it still made me fucking laugh my ass off because I wasn't expecting it. Yeah,
there was like a windshield wiper sound too. I don't know if you guys remember. It was like splat. Like it was so. I laughed out loud in a theater where you can get kicked out for that.
What?
Because it was so funny.
Wait, a theater can kick you out for laughing?
I that might be an exaggeration, but if you're like laughing at times you shouldn't be laughing, they can kick you out there. Yeah.
Okay.
But like in a comedy movie, like you're allowed to laugh.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Oh, I was gonna say you're watching, Grave of the Fireflies, and you're caught laughing. I guess I understand.
Exactly. They will kick you out for sure.
Yeah.
But I thought that what was the executioner's name?
Scourge.
I think that's right. Yeah, Scourge.
Yeah, he's played by the dude he was in Lord of the Rings. I forget the actor's name.
Oh man, yeah, he was in Star Trek too. Why am I forgetting? Oh,
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban. Yeah, that's it.
He's a good actor. He plays very like different roles too in a lot of films. He's really good with like accents too. So I respect that guy. I like that he was able to redeem himself because he kind of served the whole film as Hela's lackey, reluctantly. But I was glad that he was able to kind of come back again.
With Des and Troy.
Yep.
Yeah, and what's funny because. He was talking about I went to Texas and got these guns, right? These
Texas.
machine guns.
I believe it was
a place called Texas. Yeah, a place called Texas. And so everyone in the theater here like had a chuckle at that. But then when he said Des and Troy because they destroy, I thought he was talking about the Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks, Des Bryant and Troy Aikman. I was like, I know I'm not the only one thinking like that.
No.
It was just weird. It just put my brain in a weird spot.
Coincidence.
Isn't that weird coincidence?
I'd imagine that might actually be just them being on clever writing because I didn't know that. I just don't follow NFL. But
yeah, it was like, oh, well, they're naming after the Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks. Okay, but no, so whatever.
So something else I wanted to bring up is the character. Okay.
Oh, sorry. You quickly brought it up. We kind of brushed over it, but Thor is like transformed in this film. Like it has huge implications going forward. You said he has one eye, so Hela like totally like cuts it out. I thought that was like a weird choice because now he has to go around ugly with this bloody side of his face for like the climax of the film.
I thought it added to his character. I thought it added to the cool look.
He's like, now honestly, you're like your father.
Right.
It was
right,
anime
exactly. It's like now you're the new Odin.
Yeah, it was so anime.
Yeah, that was just like I wouldn't expect them to do that to his face. I just figure his face is the moneymaker for that character, like, you know, and they just, I mean, hey, like, go for it. It was surprising me that they would have the balls to do something like that. And then also now he doesn't have his hammer anymore. Now he's like literally the god of thunder. Like he has thunder and lightning powers or sparkles on his hands, as Jeff Goldblum's Grandmaster would say.
Right. And it makes me wonder, because I don't read like any Marvel comics, so it makes me wonder if there's like a way that Mjolnir can be reforged, or if like there's a backup Mjolnir somewhere or something like that.
Well, I wonder, but Anthony Hopkins was saying his Odin, his dad was saying in the film, like that was never really the source of your power. It was just kind of like the representation, you know, a way you could control it and focus it.
Right.
And to bring it back, since we were talking about Mjolnir, I thought that scene, that beginning fight scene where the hammer's like swirling around and hitting all the zombies, I was like, man, this is some Diablo 3 shit right here. This is awesome. It seemed like totally like Diablo 3, and I just thought it was really cool action scene to set the tone. So that's all I want to say about that.
Oh, yeah, I agree. And speaking about how Thor looks, was that not like one of the best Stan Lee cameos?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Getting his hair cut.
Some weird old guy cut my hair. Some creepy old dude.
Yeah, and you know that's funny because I actually when I saw that scene, I remembered that they actually said that they pre-recorded a shit ton of Stan Lee cameos like ahead of time,
sure,
for like a bunch of films to come, so that like, you know, if you know, hopefully, I mean,
and the man's in his 90s.
He's
let's
like
be
90.
real.
Yeah, God rest his soul. Like, hopefully, he doesn't pass away anytime soon. But like, you know, when he does, you know, they'll have that backlog of cameos.
Right.
Yeah. Smart.
But yeah, I wanted to bring up the character we haven't really talked a lot about, Valkyrie. You know, she starts out as this drunken Han Solo kind of character who, you know, is like jaded and don't get cocky kid, basically, and kind of follows a very like an arc that you could see from like miles away, where she kind of redeems herself and is like, I'm a Valkyrie again. Do you guys think that she'll like show up in future films? Because I imagine like she's starting to like, this is her becoming a main cast, or like not a main, but like a part of the MCU.
She's a character that's always had, from my understanding, I'm not a huge comic book guy either, but she's always had kind of a major role in the Thor comics. And so she's been absent from the MCU, you know, till now.
Right.
And so it was less a big deal to me. Honestly, I thought she was like the least interesting, most predictable, like worst part of the whole film. Not to be too harsh, but like I think for fans of the comics, you know, you'd get a lot more out of it. Like, oh, finally Valkyrie's, you know, here after, you know, missing the first two films.
Yeah. I mean, I thought the highlight of her character in the film was her walking up to Mark Ruffalo like, hey, I think I know you.
Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo was like, yeah, I think I know you too.
Yeah,
great.
that was funny.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of inside jokes, man. It was
Oh yeah,
funny.
and shout out to Tony Stark / Mark Ruffalo's Duran Duran shirt.
Oh yeah.
That was so great.
No, something that I like, the reason I kind of liked Valkyrie a lot as a character is that she was one of the few characters that were played like straight, you know, as in like they weren't always funny. They weren't like, not every line was a joke in some way. Like I think of the scene where she's taught, like she goes into Hulk's chambers while Thor is there, and like Thor scuffles with her a bit and then steals that like that zappy thing, frees himself, and then throws the ball at the window saying that's what heroes do, and then it like comes back and hits him. That scene would not be as funny if Valkyrie was like, LOL, you're a dumb guy, you know, like cracking a joke about how he hit his face with his own ball.
Yeah.
You know, guys, I just came to the realization, like, I feel like these superhero movies, and this movie is a prime example, like slapstick comedy is making a comeback.
Yeah.
Slapstick
Where
comedy.
else are you seeing it?
I mean, it just in these Marvel movies more so than anything. But like, I think this particular film, like, definitely is an example of that. Because I mean, slapstick comedy was a huge thing in the 90s, maybe early 2000s, and then it kind of just died off. You know, like we didn't really. It was all about like dirty late night comedy kind of thing for the longest time. You know, Will Ferrell and
said and
Seth
that.
Rogen and all that stuff. But now we got slapstick comedy coming back in the form of these superhero movies, and I kind of am digging it. Like, that's why I love the brand of comedy this Thor movie had to offer so much, because I love that slapstick shit. Like, just that part where he gets hit in the face with the ball unexpectedly. It was great.
Yeah,
you know?
I forgot about that till you re-mentioned that, but I laughed really hard at that part too.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, I was dying.
Yeah.
What was the theater like when you guys went? Was it pretty full? What time of night and what day did you go?
It was like we went around like dinner time ish, like 6 o'clock, and it was pretty packed.
It was pretty packed. It wasn't like uncomfortably packed, but it was packed.
And the next
Friday
showing,
or Saturday?
Saturday, and the next showing was already like lined up real far by the time we were like leaving the theater and we like left the room.
So, right, we're like, yeah, thank God we picked that time and not a later one, because it would have been uncomfortably packed after that.
Yeah, the theater I went in wasn't super huge theater, but it was sold out at 4:45 p.m. on a Friday night.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's crazy. So I think we should probably talk more about Hulk, because he's kind of a big part of this film and we haven't really talked much about him. And I have to say, I really liked him in this film. He was great. He
talked.
Yeah, he talks. He's
as Hulk.
He was the perfect mix of like, oh, Hulk smash, and then like, you know, funny Hulk, you know,
Hulk,
like silly,
sad,
good Hulk, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, do you guys know like what comic book series or like story that this is based on?
Planet Hulk.
Planet Hulk, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually read up a bit on it, and like, I'm a little bit sad that they aren't actually doing Planet Hulk, because Planet Hulk is really cool from what I've read.
Yeah, they kind of mashed like two different storylines together, you know, to make one film. So tell me more about Planet Hulk though, because like I said, I'm not that familiar.
So I guess to wrap it up quick, it's Planet Hulk is Hulk becomes so strong that the Avengers and the Earth are like, we need to send you away, like you're going to destroy this planet. So they send him to Saqqara, where he like becomes so strong and he's perpetually angry, and like he basically becomes king of that planet, and then like stays Hulk. Like he doesn't turn back into Bruce Banner ever again. Like he forgets who or what Bruce Banner was. He has a family, and then for some reason that planet is destroyed. So like angry Hulk gets even angrier because he loses his family, and he becomes so strong he becomes Planet Breaker Hulk or something like that. So he finds a way to go back to Earth, and then just when he steps on the Earth, the entire eastern seaboard of America just like shakes. Yeah.
So this is not Thor Ragnarok, but this is the comic book.
Yeah, this is Hulk Ragnarok.
Yeah,
Planet Hulk. Yeah, I don't know. Right. I mean, that's like a cool concept.
Kind of want to read that now.
Yeah.
No, it sounds sweet. Yeah.
No, it's like, and see, what I heard about Planet Hulk is right. There's like, I literally thought there was like a planet of Hulks, right? Am I wrong? But that's no. Yeah. Then I've been misled.
Yeah, it's just Hulk basically owning a planet because he's so strong.
Right. Well, I thought they were gonna pull, like, for a minute, I thought they were gonna pull some shit where like it was Hulk, but it wasn't actually like Bruce Banner. Like it was a different Hulk or some shit.
Like some other dude infected by the gamma radiation.
Right, or it's just coincidentally happened upon another dude that looks like Hulk, and that's why you know he didn't recognize him or whatever.
There is, you know, spoilers. There is a gray Hulk and there is a She-Hulk too.
Yeah,
and right, I don't know if I don't know if I'm getting these names right or not. I don't want some fanboys to email me, but
I know there's a Red Hulk too.
Okay, yeah, there are, you know, there are Hulks, plural.
There are some rocks, yeah. And I also just want to like say, why is Jeff Goldblum such a fun human being?
Dude, he was arguably the best part of this whole fucking movie.
He's the best part of every movie he's ever in all the time.
And here's the thing.
A treasure.
I haven't seen many trailers of this, or I don't pay much close attention. So when he came on the screen, I was like, is that fucking Jeff Goldblum?
Oh, you didn't know when you went and saw the movie?
No, yeah, I had no idea. Like, I wasn't walking into it thinking, I can't wait to see Jeff Goldblum in this movie. I just walked in and was pleasantly surprised.
So you must not be paying attention to me when I'm talking to you on our podcast.
No, not really. No.
It's on there.
No, I don't really remember you mentioning it.
Okay. Well, yeah, when we talked about it. Like,
yeah, I mean, I knew
a month or so ago. That's funny. No, he was great. I completely agree with you. He made the movie so much better, like he does and everything. He's the person on screen that's having the most fun all the time.
Oh yeah,
he's just having a blast, being himself.
Exactly, and it totally seems like he improv'd like almost all of his scenes. There was the scene where he was I can't remember exactly what he says, but they're like closing up on his face, and I think it's when Thor's like locked to the chair, and Jeff Goldblum, like, he says something and then he just stops talking, and then he just kind of like smiles and twitches at the camera.
Yeah.
And
Like a
then
little
it cuts
nudge,
away
nudge,
from
wink,
him.
wink.
And it was so funny because it was so awkward.
He's right up there with Christopher Walken. Like, why do we never see them paired up together?
Oh man,
ever.
I think
Like,
that
oh my
movie would
God.
end the world.
I know. It's like De Niro and Al Pacino, like in that scene in Heat, if they ever got together, man.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was so happy and pleasantly surprised with his performance in this film. Probably one of the best performances, just because this character's so like wacky and very much in his own universe, even though he owns that planet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
He looked like Will Ferrell in
Zoolander.
yes.
Yep. I don't know. Like,
it's oh, go ahead.
just to me, like a lot of the things about Saqqara kind of is reflective of him. Like that stick that kills people. What is it called? The melting stick. Like that's literally
it's
what
like,
it was
he's
called. Like
you give me the
Something like that. That's what he
don't give me
calls
the
it.
melting stick right now. He's not. He didn't do anything that's worth capital punishment.
yeah. And to me, I'm just like, I don't know if that was Jeff Goldblum who just decided to name it the melting stick, and Marvel was
Right.
like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, whatever.
But it's
they don't
pretty
care. Yeah, I mean, kind of to go off of that, like it kind of is sad because it's cast in doubt, right? With the two post-credit scenes that the Grandmaster Jeff Goldblum's character probably will not be seen again in the film.
Yeah.
We probably saw his last scene. This is his one and only appearance in the MCU. So enjoy it now. Because do we want to kind of talk about those scenes now?
Yeah, I think we should. I love his post-credit scene. It was so great.
I like the post-credit scenes. I'm glad they're there. I'd rather have them there than not, but they kind of didn't do anything like to boost up Black Panther like the next film, which is traditionally what they do. They will boost up either like the next Thor movie or the next MCU movie, and they didn't really do anything like that. It didn't really further the story. It just kind of like, I don't know. They weren't enough, like the scene where this big ship kind of descends upon Thor and the people of that were saved from, what's the name of Valhalla? Asgard. Yeah.
Asgard.
Okay. One of those Norse names. Like, when that was like, okay, whatever, shoulder shrug. And then Jeff Goldblum, at least you get to see him one last time, but he's presumably killed by the revolutionaries on his planet.
Yeah.
So that's kind of sad too. Like, oh, well, I guess we'll never see him again.
don't know,
Maybe.
that-
Fingers crossed.
That monologue though is like, man, I played a pretty big part in your revolution, right? I mean, you can't revolt unless you have something to revolt against. Like that was
he's
so
like-
good. I love
Yeah,
that.
he's like, so it's a tie, right?
Yeah, no, but the serious post credit scene where like Thor and Loki are looking up and it's like, oh shit, that's a big old ship. From what I've read, that's supposed to be Thanos' ship.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you after the movie, Robert. I was
Yeah.
like, it's that one dude, Thanos. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like gonna be the big bad in Infinity War. So like, I guess that scene is kind of like foreshadowing, maybe not Black Panther, right? Unless Black Panther kills Thanos in this movie, which I don't think happens, but it's definitely foreshadowing like Marvel, like Avengers Infinity War. So who knows, like maybe Thor and crew don't make it to Earth because Thanos says they don't. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So-
Man, April cannot get here soon enough. I'm so hyped. I mean, you have Thor, he cut his hair. They kind of made it look like those weird like nicks and cuts in like the side there. I guarantee you cosplayers are going to be copying that.
Oh yeah,
Like
it looks
they're
so
definitely
cool.
doing it. It looks cool, but it's like you can't have your hair like that every single day. You'll feel like a douche in the office if you're like, give me the Thor. You know what I mean? It's
Hey,
like,
God of Thunder,
yes.
get me some coffee.
Yeah, it's like half Vanilla Ice, half I don't know, but half Kanye West. But
Kanye West.
it was, I don't know. There was just so many changes to the character. Like it was kind of admirable to see them transform Thor in so many profound ways in this film. Not just with the shift in tone, but like literally changes to his character's physical makeup and physical abilities. It was cool to see.
Kind of the last thing I wanted to bring up, just because I fucking love this character, Korg, the stone boy who is voiced by director, Taika Waititi.
Oh yeah, how could we forget?
Oh, is that who did his voice?
Yeah, the director himself
Really?
voiced Korg.
Hey man,
I-
we're gonna get on this ship. We're gonna get out of here. Wanna come?
Yeah, you want to come? Like, Korg is both my favorite character from that film, but also like I hate him.
You hate him? How can you hate him? He's so
okay.
fun.
I hate him because again, I just keep saying like it's too lighthearted. At the end, when Ragnarok was happening and you're watching Thor and like all of the Asgardians watching their home planet or plane of living or whatever it is destroyed. He's just like, it'll be fine. You can rebuild it as long as there's the foundation. So it looks like the foundation's being kept. Oh, never mind. You know, it's like that was
the foundations
funny.
are gone now.
Yeah, it's like that was funny, but it's also like, this is supposed to be sad. This is supposed to hit some kind of dramatic point, but it's not because Korg is too funny.
Korg was great. I didn't know it was Taika Waititi that did it. When I heard the voice, I thought I had heard that voice somewhere before, and I thought to myself, like, that sounds almost like a South African accent. Like, is this Sharto Copley, right? The guy from District 9, the guy from Chappie. Yeah, I was like, is this that
Chappie.
guy? Yeah, like I couldn't really. It sounded totally like South African accent, but I think it's an interesting approach to take with that type of character because he's a huge, imposing figure, right? He's a giant rock man, and so the director Taika was like modeling kind of the trope of in Polynesia, in the Philippines, in a lot of parts of Eastern Asia, the bouncers are really huge guys with really light, high voices.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that is like common there for whatever reason. So he wanted Korg to be that type of character. And I thought that was obviously, you know, something that I don't think another director would even think to do. So that's cool.
Yeah, Korg was the true rock of this film.
There you go. That's it.
That's Colin, what you were referring to earlier.
There
right?
you go.
Yeah.
Get out of here, you damn ghost.
Yeah, no, I loved the movie. I really did love it.
Oh my
I really
god, how
did.
could we forget to mention, guys? I love the scene between Doctor Strange and Thor.
Oh yeah. That scene
you know-
made me want to watch Doctor Strange. I still haven't seen
I
it.
know, I haven't seen it yet.
So they literally just took frame for frame one of the scenes at the end credits of Doctor Strange and put it in this film.
Oh really?
So that's kind of what I mean when like they use the last movie to promote the next movie in line. Like
that I didn't know.
the part where he's filling up his beer and all that's at the end of Doctor Strange. So this kind of sucks for me, and I'm glad you brought this up because I want to talk about this, and I just want to real quickly talk about the box office numbers, then we can be done. But Doctor Strange, I did not know was in this film because I was going on social media blackout about this after watching the first trailer. I was like, okay, this movie's going to be good. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to stop looking stuff up. But when I go to buy my ticket on the Alamo Drafthouse app, it says in there the cast, and they put, I think for alphabetical reasons, the very first person listed is Benedict motherfucking Cumberbatch.
Hey,
and
maybe he was going to play another character.
I was like, for a second, I forgot he was Doctor Strange, and I was like, what was he going to do in this film? I didn't know he's in this film. And I'm like, crap.
He plays the
Doctor Strange's in
dragon,
this film.
dude. He's Smaug, remember?
Yeah,
It was Smog's in it. Yeah, so it totally ruined the cameo for me. And it was literally like right when I was buying my ticket for it. So real quick, box office numbers, guys. This film had a budget of $180 million, a runtime of 2 hours 10 minutes. It grossed domestically as of November 5th, almost $123 million. But worldwide, guys, where is that number?
It's like
431 million worldwide. So it has more than doubled its money, on its way to tripling it within 7 days of release. That is incredible. I mean, we haven't seen domestic box office numbers like this since It.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty close to It.
Yeah, that's not a small movie. So Thor Ragnarok is absolute success. This is going to catapult Taika Waititi. If you haven't heard his name before, I haven't before this film. I think he's going to probably be most certainly going to be signing a contract to do the sequel, if not maybe the next two movies in this Ragnarok trilogy that they're working on. But I really enjoyed his brand of filmmaking. It's going to make me kind of look back and say like, oh, what else did he do? We really didn't mention either like Mark Mothersbaugh, right? I think you mentioned, Robert.
Yeah,
he's like he's a member of the Devo.
Of the Devo, yeah. They do
The
that
Devo.
song,
The
the
Devo.
Whip It.
The Whip
the
It.
Whip It song.
Crack that whip.
Dun, dun, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, no, he did the music for this film, which, I mean, I felt like the music didn't resonate super hard with me, but it resonated out of all the Marvel films I've seen, probably the most.
Yeah, it's the most unique, just like the film itself. I thought that the music itself really fit with the visual kind of design of the film. I just thought it was a perfect marriage. So I just wanted to shout out Mark Mothersbaugh. I see you over there. I see you with that music stuff you're doing.
Where?
It's pretty good. I see him. I saw him.
Yeah, well known for Whip It and the Thor Ragnarok soundtrack.
I noticed. Senpai noticed you, Mark Mothersbaugh.
I don't remember much from the music, to be honest with you, aside from Immigrant Song, of course.
Really? I thought you would like it because it's super synth wavy, dude.
Yeah,
it's like
it was
right up your alley.
So good.
I know, like I'm not like off the top of my head, like I don't remember disliking it. I just can't remember it off the top of my head. I really can't.
The Avengers films specifically are notorious for their absolutely completely forgettable soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? Like no one thinks of the music when you think of Avengers the way you think of the music when you think of Star Wars or even Lord of the Rings. No one says, "Oh, the Avengers music is so good."
Yeah,
said no one.
Quick side note: they showed the Episode 8 trailer at the beginning of the movie, and I was like, "Dude, seeing that in the theater was pretty cool."
And it was.
I didn't see any good trailers before mine, but they did do. I did appreciate, like, if you get there a half hour early, you should always go. If you ever go to Alamo Draft House, always go half an hour early. But they did a whole like Thor recap of like everything that he's done in every single Marvel movie to set you up for this film. So I really appreciate that.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we should wrap up with like final thoughts probably. Overall, I think this is a fun film to go to. It's one of those films where, like, if you're on the weekend hanging out with your friends and you're like, let's watch a movie. I want to watch a movie for fun. This would definitely be a good one to sit through. Even if you haven't seen any of the Marvel movies before, like if you have never heard of the name Thor or Hulk or anything, this film's fun. It'll entertain you. It'll build the characters well enough where you feel like you have a good grasp on like who Thor is, who Hulk is, who the Rock is, and you'll just have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I think, like I said at the beginning, it was a buddy cop film, kind of like I was thinking it was going to be. Like, it was a lot of comedy, and I'm taking from it now that it's going for more of like, it's bringing back kind of slapstick comedy. I appreciate it a little bit more, but I was expecting, I don't know, I was expecting a serious tone where it's important. Like, I was expecting it to hit for a dramatic tone where it needs to, and it wasn't really there for me. But otherwise, I mean, it was a very enjoyable, entertaining movie.
This is the most anime film I've seen this year in the same year where Ghost in the Shell came out.
That wasn't an anime film. That was
exactly the problem.
God,
exactly.
That movie was so terrible. I watched that not too long ago too.
Thor Ragnarok is the most fun I've had in the theaters in a while. It's just great, stupid fun.
I'll give you that.
Thoroughly entertaining. This is a good time. Absolutely. So I do recommend it. I do recommend seeing it in theaters. I think it would be a good place to jump in as well. It's just a fun chapter. It's going to be widely remembered, as just a great moment in the MCU. Great kind of palate cleanser again. Right before we get into, you guys want serious? I keep hearing you guys want serious.
Yeah,
Infinity War is getting real, and Infinity War is going to be like over 3 hours. So you want serious, heavy. I don't know if that's true actually, but it just sounds right. But but it's going to be serious. There's going to be some real things happen. It's going to be like some Game of Thrones MCU stuff. So buckle up.
Shit.
Look,
I'm incest?
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly it.
The radioactive spider and I don't know.
And Tony Stark.
No.
Look, it's not that I want super serious. It's just that I don't want every character to be funny. I feel like funny is a trait that not every character in any film, TV show, movie.
No, you need the good straight man like Valkyrie to bounce stuff off of. I get
right.
you.
Yeah, and to me it was like that was a slight problem I had with the Spider-Man film too, is that like everyone felt funny for the most part, except for Vulture, who was good. But yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, now that you mentioned Spider-Man, I think it was definitely more balanced than this one was. But yeah.
I don't know. For me, this is gonna be really interesting for the next few weeks, because I don't know if you guys are aware, but next Friday, like 2 weeks from now, November 17th, DC is gonna take its stab at the movie market with Justice League.
I'm somewhat worried this is gonna be a family movie more than I want it to be.
Justice League?
Yeah.
So if I go see this movie, should I watch Batman v Superman and Wonder Woman before?
Maybe Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman might, just because it's the one DC film that you won't feel ashamed of yourself for watching it.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is from someone who likes DC as a universe.
Man.
So yeah, I think.
All right.
It'll be interesting just because, now we have a Marvel movie and a DC movie coming out in the same month. And it'll just be cool to see how they compare, especially with Justice League being like the big DC, like this is, if this fails, the DC cinematic universe is pretty much dead,
I have my real serious concerns about, I mean, I like the direction it's going, but like I said, I'm worried it's going to be too skewed to families and not so much skewed towards like the core DC fan base. I hope I'm wrong, but we'll see what happens, and then I'll say if I'm right or wrong at that point.
I don't know. The CG still looks like ass. That's all I gotta say.
I don't know.
I think it looks better. So yeah, Superman's mustache is removed frame by frame so exquisitely.
Perfect frame by frame work. So yeah, that should conclude our Thor Ragnarok spoiler cast. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you got something out of it. I hope maybe you see the movie differently or your thoughts are reinforced. I don't know. I just hope this felt important to you in some way. In some way, I hope we impacted your life.
So profound.
You'll have fun. You'll have fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna recommend, if you haven't seen the movie, go see it. You'll have fun. At the end of a spoiler cast, yeah.
All right. Whoops. Rip.
Yeah.
2 for 2. High five.
So that's been us at the Tiny Disc Podcast. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
God of Thunder.